Hey, what is up, my peeps on YouTube? It's Sparky Marky Mark here, and I'm here to do a review for a horror movie. And what you're looking at here is the Halloween franchise posters. Ignore Silent Night, Deadly Night, and the Medea movie. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about Halloween, Michael Myers. But all in all, let's start with the very first one, with John Carpenter's Halloween. But as you're looking at here, this is the limited edition released by Anchor Bay in the early 2000s. But let's talk about the original, of course. And of course, everyone knows about the original Halloween is that this was an indie, low-budget, $300,000 movie. And it became the most profitable independently released film about an escaped mass killer stalking by a group of by an escaped masked villain stalking babysitters. Of course, about 3 babysitters, teenagers, being stalked by a maniacal killer. And roughly, of course, it became the most profitable independently released film until the late 90s with the Blair Witch Project. But this started the grandfather or the dad of, just say the dad of slashers, of course. And of course, and thanks to the people behind it, like Irwin Yablans gave him the idea, the executive producer and director, writer, and composer John Carpenter, of course. While Carpenter wrote the male character aspects, create the ideas, and Deborah Hill did the female characters and their dialogues. And among other things, of course, it's their stars, of course. You have, as of about 4 days ago, 4 days ago, of course, on October 5th, it would have been Donald Pleasance's 101st birthday this year. Yep, he would have been 101 this year. So yeah, so happy birthday to the late Donald Pleasance, everyone. So, if you heard my video from the 1995 review of the G-Shock DW6900 and talking about 1995, yeah. I was talking about the people who passed on that year and what went on that year, especially Donald Pleasance. So it stars with Donald Pleasance as the psychiatrist Dr. Sam Loomis, and you have you have the other character Jamie Lee Curtis as the female heroine victim, final girl Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis, and also you have PJ Soles and Nancy Loomis as her 2 friends. And you had Charles Safers, of course, as the sheriff. And then, of course, for the shape, I'm going to tell you that in a moment. But it is a great film, and it was shot in 20 days, and among other things. And with that, I'm going to show you the extended edition. Very cool. Numbered 1843, doesn't even say specifically how much. Maybe it could have been 2,000 of these were made. Nowadays, very HTF to find. Hard to find, that's what it stands for. All in all, it is great, and it has the extended cut. You got the Unmasked 2000, with you have interviews. Then you have 12 minutes of additional footage that was not in the theatrical version, meaning they would have been about the film would have been 104 minutes. It was a carbon footage that was shot in 1980 for the television version. So, one of these days, if Scream Factory is listening to this, please release Halloween 1 and give us the extended edition with the theatrical version. Please do that for us, along with the special features poured from the previous editions. So here's what you're going to get. This edition, and I had to replace it because the other one, I bought this like new, I thought it was fine. So let me see. Yep, this is it. Halloween like you've never seen or heard of it before. This is what the mask that you're going to see in the story. And this is part of the chapter inserts. That's right. And Anchor Bay, well, nowadays Screen Factory, Shout Factory is like Screen Factory, aka Shout Factory, and what else? Arrow Video are like the Anchor Bays now. Anchor Bay is no longer around, but they're still kind of rare or something like that. And of course, with these editions, you get these pictures. You have another one with Donald Pleasence, and also you have Jamie Lee Curtis as well. But I have this one with Nick Castle with the mask. So the Shape is played by Nick Castle. But there's 2 other people involved in playing, 3 people as well. You have Nick Castle playing throughout the movie, but the standing scene in which young Tommy Doyle sees the Shape standing across the street to the Wallace residence. That's the second unit shot scene. That was Deborah Hill, of course. You couldn't even tell how big she was. She was so tiny. I mean, she's tiny, yeah. And of course, another one was Tommy Lee Wallace, in which he is chasing Laurie Strode and then breaking the door, and the next thing you know, he's attacking her in the closet. And the unmasking, you're going to be seeing this in a moment. Just a second. The unmasking scene that you're about to see, of course, is played by actor Tony Moran, who is the brother of Aaron Moran, who played Joni Cummings in Happy Days. All right, this was Tony Moran back then. Here he is as Michael Myers, age 23. But he's actually 21 because the character is 21 years old. Here it is. When Laurie Strode unmasks Michael, you see his face. You only see it for a few seconds, and then he puts on the mask. Of course, very scary. Of course, everyone was shocked to hear the screaming that Michael's mask had been pulled. And what you're seeing is nothing. It's just some dude under there. But you're so built up to it, people will scream. They wanted a certain look for the unmasking for that person who was going to be Michael Myers when the mask came off. Back then, Nick Castle was very handsome. Of course, they didn't want someone really handsome like Nick. So they said they wanted someone to be a little more angelic, kind of against type, of course. So yeah, that's what they got. They wanted someone angelic, more of against type, not handsome. No way. So yeah, it was great. So yeah, and also the scene where Michael gets shot off the balcony, that was played by stuntman Jim Whitburn, who plays Michael Myers after Dr. Loomis shoots Michael off the balcony, the second-story balcony. And of course, for Tony Moran, I'm gonna I'll put you a link in the description box down below of the link to show you that Tony Moran is interviewed in 2012 at the time of Marvel's Avengers was released, among other things. That you see him in 2012 and chatting on television here at a convention, telling how he got the job of playing the Shape, Michael Myers, among other things. He was a struggling young actor living with a friend until he got a phone call and meet with the executive producer, Erwin Yablans. And he said, what does he have to do? And he said he's going to have to play some psycho. And there was no lines he has to read. All he just do is play the villain. And also he heard about the title Halloween, because back then a horror movie called Halloween or a movie called Halloween was the corniest thing ever. And it's an indie low budget, and of course, and he has to know who's in this movie, and Jamie Lee Curtis, well, who's that? And then he got told that Donald Pleasence in this movie. He's like, you're kidding. He is a classic British actor, well trained and ready to go and such. He did it for 2 reasons: for money and getting to work with Donald Pleasence. That's the 2 reasons why he did the film. And one more thing I gotta show you is the poster art for Halloween 1, which obviously you already know what it looks like. But all in all, this is a great film. And for the unmasking, which is about 26 minutes, and I'm gonna say 26 and a half minutes, feature interviews with John Carpenter, Erwin Yablans, producer, writer Deborah Hill. Joe Wolf, head of Compass International, was involved. And also, who else? Also, production designer Tommy Lee Wallace is in it. Also, who else was involved? Well, a few people get interviewed, talk about everything, especially when Carpenter talks about the score for the movie. He had 3 days to do the score for the film, and his father bought him a pair of bongos, believe it or not, when he was a teenager, and he taught him 4/5 time, and it became the Halloween that we know and love. And also put piano, sing strings, and voila. And since then has become very popular among horror fans and fans of horror and movies over the years. And what else is there? And it launched the careers of a great cast, especially Jamie Lee Curtis. And also Mustafa Akkad, of course, is as well as the producer of the film, of course. And Mustafa Akkad presents. Here he is. Right here, Mustafa Akkad presents. And he's coined to this very day the godfather of the Halloweens. And he'll keep doing it until he stops at 22. And he took the advice from Donald Pleasance. But also, he wasn't at first thrilled about doing horror. Okay, and he had a chat with John Carpenter in London with Irwin Yablans and said, "It is the babysitter going to be killed by the boogeyman." The word babysitter clicked with him because every kid in America knows what the babysitter is. I know what a babysitter is, heck, but only my aunts babysat me. Nobody hired no babysitters to babysit anyone. To babysit me, actually. So, among other things, this low-budget film did well, and it made $70 million. Wow. Worldwide, and it got a lot of response from everybody. Of course, even every studio turned it down until they released it themselves. And also, there's an interview in the Unmasked, the Halloween Unmasked, with Joe Wolf of Compass International. And as well as, of course, years later, the sequel will be. It still continues 1978, which is Halloween 2. Which I'll get to that, which was released by Universal Pictures, of course. Could have had the idea of Avico Embassy release it, which distributes low-budget projects a little above the budget price. Ignore that. So yeah, I mean, it is a great score and has got a lot of followings over the years. So, and as well, I'm going to be doing a little review for the Halloween 25 Years of Terror, where you got a lot of people interviewed, from Edgar Wright and Clive Barker, and who else is interviewed. Here you have it. Slipcover case. You have a 2-disc. You have interviews with Edgar Wright, Clive Barker, Joan Carl Buechler, Joe Wolf, Greg Nicotero, Kathleen Kimon, Danielle Harris, Dean Cundy, Jodie Lynn O'Keefe, plus fans like Clive Barker, Rob Zombie, Kim Newman, Edgar Wright, composers Alan Howarth and Nick Castle are interviewed, Deborah Hill, and her final interview, Mustafa Akkad as well, since both Mustafa Akkad and Deborah Hill passed on in 2005. I was a freshman at the time. But I'll leave you a link in the description box, or I'll do it in another video. But all in all, these are great. This is a great documentary. I hope this gets a Blu-ray release one of these days, since Anchor Bay is no longer around. So anyway, subscribe to my channel to be notified of newest uploads and videos, and I'll catch you soon. And enjoy October. This is Sparky Marky Mark. And I'm out of here.